lot of things. And the reason I invited you here is just to, share and who you are and what you do, and hopefully to inspire other women, Pacific Islanders and local people.
Yeah. So, born and raised in Hawaii, on Oahu particularly. Raised in Palola Valley housing, of course. I'm a single child. I'm the only child of my ohana. And was, a victim to the circumstances here in Hawaii, right? We were living in poverty. I was no stranger to exposure to domestic violence, substance abuse, right? Housing mentality, gang mentality, criminal mentality. I do have a history with drugs, and a history with child welfare services as well. At 35, I turned my life around. I got clean, and I practice a life abstinent, free from drugs.
Wow.
All drugs. Practiced a program called Narcotics Anonymous. I was in full service to them for 16 years. I changed my life. I got a master's degree. I raised 4 out of 5 children, 2 of which I had to re-adopt into my care. So that says a lot about my past. And that brings me to where I'm at today. I changed my life as a product of Hawaii, a local kid growing up in a housing, right? Changed the life and managed to raise my children, become a productive member of society. I became a professional and advocated for a lot of families in different social economic statuses. I'm a social worker by heart and a social worker by trade. So I got a degree in social work.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Can you tell us a little about that, what you did?
Yes. So throughout my life, I was always an advocate of friends, helpful to my peers. I always knew that there was more to me and who I was. And when I started to realize that I had strengths in me other than weaknesses and liabilities, right, and faults, because I lived a lot of my life in that mentality, the negatives. Once I could apply myself positively and understand that I have merit, influence, strength. I started out doing services as a paraprofessional, I would say, for parents and children together. That was my first experience in social services. I supported the community there. I did a lot of outreach. I did parent coaching for them, co-parent counseling. We did a lot of home visits, and it basically was services to prevention of child welfare services. So families that were high risk and were having challenges could seek us for help prior to getting involved with child welfare. But on the side, I did a lot of service to Narcotics Anonymous and to the women who were recovering. Wow. I did lots of service to the Hawaiian community. In my journey to figure out who I was as a Kanaka Maoli, an Aboriginal of these lands, it sent me on a journey that, contributed a lot of Malama Aina in service to our Hawaiian community and spaces as well. So was working in that capacity, and then I got a master's in social work, and I became a child welfare services assessment worker for the serious harm unit. And I've been servicing families in that capacity for the last 4 years. Yeah. Recently, I'm a Kia'imona.
What is that?
That's officially it's the guardians of the mountain.
Wow.
In 2019, when the protests or protection of Mauna Kea started, the protests against the TMT telescope started, I was called to that mountain. I don't know what drew me there, but there was a spiritual pull that took me to that mountain. And 3 days later, so our kupuna got arrested, blocking the road, blocking the machines on the mountain. 3 days after that arrest, I was on the mountain, and I've continued to go back and forth for the next 6 months after that. And then my life changed. I started to organize on Oahu in protection of Mauna Kea. And through that, it led me on another journey, working with Kanaka Maoli, understanding aloha aina issues, getting into the meat and potatoes of the politics that affect the people here in Hawaii. And then it forced me to learn who I was as a Native Hawaiian, born in the American system. Yeah. Today, I'm also a anti-mandates organizer and protester. I protest the mandates as well.
Right.
So I've been on the ground doing that. And upon other things, I'm working towards food independence and sovereignty of our people. Yeah, building a nation. So multiple capacities.
Right.
I wear many different hats.
Yeah.
And I work in multiple arenas. So I have relationships with circuit court and, the state systems, the court systems throughout the entire state we're affiliated with. So, yeah, I just full spectrum.